Welcome back to the manor. Julian McBain here, and today we are hunting rhino beetles. Because it's been a hot minute since we've played. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is being a content creator in Entropia universe. This is part of my Modern Entropian series. And I wanted to kind of lay out for the aspiring content creator what you're going to be facing, the good and the bad. But before we get started, as always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Okay, so content creation in Entropia universe is not much different from content creation in other games. You get into the game, you play, you comment, and people watch, right? But there's more to it than that. The thing about Entropia universe is that it's a very grindy game. And we all know that, right? That's part of the reason we love it. We get in, we just grind. We relax, it's chill, the community's awesome. For pre-recorded content, it's actually tougher than it is for... Whoops. Probably should have some ammo there. For pre-recorded... Oh, wow. Oh, okay, never mind. Damn. I saw 149 pet. What? No. No. That's just the conversion I made. If you're live streaming, it's actually easier because you get to chat with the people that you're live streaming. Oh, shit. Good thing I missed that other one. You can chat with the people that are in your audience, right? They talk to you, you talk back. There's a lot of good Entropia Universe live streamers out there. They can just chill, play the game. I know that Twitch has a lot of unique tools that are available to it. So, like, I know Bonnie, who's one of the biggest Twitch streamers that I'm familiar with when it comes to EU. She basically sets up a jukebox, sets her whole stream up to be the pub, and it really feels like a pub. It really does. It's kind of awesome, actually. But you can do videos too. Like, I make a lot of pre-baked content and I curate it and I put it on YouTube. Or you can go to, I believe it's called Rumble instead, which from what I understand, it's easier to monetize on Rumble, but at the same time, it's a totally different platform experience. I haven't had much, I've got a Rumble account, but I haven't posted anything. So what are the good parts about being a content creator? Well, the first, it's actually addictive as hell. It really is. Just getting in and, I mean, let's face it. Being a content creator is like the best job in the world. You get on the, I turn on a camera, or I don't turn on a camera. I turn on a recording software and I turn on a microphone and I talk about my feelings on the internet. And I could get to the point where I make money by talking about my feelings on the internet. That's all content creation really is. Now, it's what you are talking about, and yes, I know I'm quoting Tim Pool, but work with me here. What you're talking about could determine the audience you're looking for. Now, for us, we're gamers. We generally stick to topics in game. We generally don't go outside of that lane because that, I mean, and there might be an audience for other stuff, other topics inside of a game. But typically speaking, that's what we aim for. And I think that's good, because that's what people come to these streams and videos to really find out, is information about the game, the experience, how other players are playing, you know, different ways to be successful within the game. Now, is there a space for other forms of commentary? Absolutely. And if you're willing to take the risks and do those experiments, like if you want to get onto Entropia Universe and talk about, like, I've done some talks about socioeconomics, and I've talked about psychology, and I've talked about trauma, and I've talked about various things. I've talked philosophy. I've talked a lot of philosophy. I kind of irritated people with philosophy. But that's basically what I do. I talk about a subject until I irritate people with it, and then I try to find a different topic. You could start a political channel. I'm not sure how successful it would be. It might be wildly successful. Politics are kind of in right now. You could talk about religion. These are two topics that I recommend against for this type of a channel. But you know what? That might be your niche. And there are people who are an audience for that. Now, whether the Entropia audience would match up against the audience for whatever your points of view are, totally a different question. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. You could do an analysis channel where if you're an economist or a securities specialist, like I used to be, you could really talk about, how this integrates with the real world or how it compares to the real world, the benefits and drawbacks of the type of, open laissez-faire economy Entropia Universe basically has. These are all things that people will watch. What you really need to determine is what is your unique selling point. And you have to build a brand. Like for me, my brand, I am Julian McBain, which for those of you who are newer to the channel is a trade name. If you go back to my oldest content back when I first started the channel, which originally it was just for my WoW guild that I started this channel. It was just to post dungeon runs for my WoW guild so we could review them. It was the easiest way to do it because at the time Facebook's playback function didn't work very well. And we were having issues with it within our guild page. My real name gets dropped there, not my last name, but my first name. And I don't hide this fact, but you have to build a brand of some sort, right? Most people use a handle. That's totally fine. I strongly recommend if you're going to use a handle and you start really building an audience, register that handle as a trade name. It's usually not very expensive. I know in my state it's $50 for 5 years. That's not expensive. Other states are going to be more expensive, but they're usually not too heavy on the wallet. And that protects your name. That means that only you can use that name. So like if someone else went out there and tried to build a brand as Julian McBain, I felt like they were doing so in a way that gave discredit to my brand, or where would it infringe upon my brand, I could present them my trade name and request that they cease and desist. Now, the chances of that actually happening are very, very slim. I would have to grow to be huge for that to even be something that I'm really overly concerned with. And this space very much adheres to the Pareto principle, which I've talked about ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go too much into depth of it here. But basically, the more success you get, the more success you'll gain. And so when you're at the bottom of that distribution, climbing is very hard. And that's okay. That's kind of how it works in real life too. The more success you get, the more success you'll get. The more success you'll experience in the future. So that comes down to the tough parts of it. Besides figuring out a brand and figuring out what your shtick is or your unique selling point, you also have to understand that it is a grind. And it's a grind as hard as playing Entropia Universe. It really is. And I have been grinding on this channel. I have been putting out content since about 6 months into my Entropia play. That's the long and the short of it. Go back. I've got... last I checked, as of this past weekend, I had something like 881 videos on this channel. Not all of them are Entropia Universe, but the bulk is. I think the vast majority of them are Entropia Universe videos. Go back and look at my earliest content. I was a rank newbie. Like, I could only use Book and Spare Rifle competently. That's how new I was. Like, I had trouble hunting Daikaba. Okay. And I'm not ragging on new players. We are all there at some point, but that really shows the perspective of how long I've been doing this, the things I learned from doing this, the mistakes I made along the way, the sheer number of videos I've nuked due to problems. It is a grind. And that's a good thing, because that grind will teach you things both about this space and about yourself. I have learned more about myself and about my drive and about my goals by playing this game and by being a content creator in this space than I ever would have if I hadn't. Which brings me to the next part of it. You have to be consistent. You must be consistent. If you are going to post one video a week, post one video a week, every week, without fail, on the same day every week. That will help you with the algorithm. If you kick it up to 2, don't stop. If you do stop, stop for a while. So it kind of resets that algorithm. YouTube favors more content. It favors focused content. So but it focuses focused content over more content. So like there was a time I was posting 7 days a week, but I had 3 different segments. Having 3 different segments with 3 different topics did not help me in the algorithm. And and because of that, I firmly believe that because I pushed too far in too many spaces, the algorithm decided to work against me because I was not following the rules, the algorithmic rules. And so I did not make my goal, and I will not make my goal as far as I can tell, of 1,000 subscribers this year. I'm hoping that next year I turn that around. I'm focusing in a little bit more. I'm niching down a little bit. I'm really focusing in on my core content. And if I do decide to release other content besides this gaming content, I'll probably use a different channel. And although I strongly recommend you focus on a single channel, unless you have a job that otherwise has you running a YouTube channel. Of course, like I have my Facebook page, McBain Manor. You can go check that out. And that's where I usually post it when I'm live streaming there. I really need to do more there, and that's on me. But time is a thing that exists. But I also manage my job's social media pages. And so far that was one can. And so of course I post things there that has nothing to do with this, but they don't mix. See how that works? Keeping in mind that you have to grow a channel, and this is literally the definition of self-employment, right? There is nothing about a YouTube channel that isn't running a business, even if you're doing it as a hobby. Because you have to put out it's a product. You put out the product, you see how many people decide they like it, and their subscription is their purchase of your product, even if you're not making money off of it. Because eventually it builds up to 1,000, and then you become a YouTube partner, and then you can monetize. Or Twitch, you stream and people follow you, and you continue doing it, and then suddenly you start getting subscriptions, and people start giving you bits. It's all the same thing, and it's all your hard work. It's all the effort you put in and the things you learn. That is the grind of this space, and that's what it comes with. But if that's what you want to do, you are absolutely able to do it. And in the Entropia universe particularly, there's a lot of opportunity. You know, content creators come and go in this space. If you can build yourself a huge niche here and stick it out, you'll do good. And I know that there are Entropia universe content creators who are still earning money off obsolete videos because people go back and still watch them. You know, once they monetize, of course, you gotta earn the monetization, and that takes years. There's nothing short about monetization in this space. Okay, I've been doing this for 2-ish years. As of today, I'm at 483. As of this recording, I'm at 483 followers. I have a Patreon. I have 3 patrons, and I'm not bitching about having 3 patrons. The fact that I'm earning any money at all is just playing video games. Frankly, blows my mind. And I want to give a shout out to those patrons: Red Kryptonite, Spectrum 3900, and Jason Lambertson for being my patrons. I really appreciate all of your support. But that doesn't mean it's easy. And it doesn't mean it doesn't take time. And I've got to offer incentives. So I have my 2 ebooks, one of which is focused on this game, and one of which is outside of that realm because of my mundane specialty, my real world specialty of personal finance. And I wrote a book on it, and I offered it only to patrons. So you can go check that out at patreon.com/JulianMcBain, hashtag shameless plug. So yeah, so what it comes down to is, what do you want to do? And do you have the grit? Because that's what it takes. It takes grit. It is currently basically 10 o'clock on a Monday night when I'm recording this. I have to be to work at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, where I work my 9 to 5. And more often than not, I have working lunches. Okay, not so much lately, but for a good chunk of my time there, I've had working lunches. Breaks get interrupted. They're cut short. And I often have to work late. Oh yeah, and I'm exempt because I'm on commission. Which, by the way, kind of sucks. But it's also really good. And what I mean by it kind of sucks, but it's also really good, when you work on when you've got salary plus commission, actually, I don't know if I'm technically, yeah, I'm technically exempt. There's a, when you're on commission, it works kind of funny. So I work 40 plus hours at my 9 to 5, and I earn a base salary. And then for every sale I make a percentage. So some months are better than others. Some months I sell a lot, and other months I don't sell as much. Now, thankfully, I've gotten pretty consistent. And because of the segment I work in, I've had months where I don't have to sell as many units because the particular unit I'm selling is worth a lot of money. Oh, there was a point to all this. God damn it. Oh. But that also means that on top of that, I have this. And I'm a single father, so I've got to work with that. And there's housekeeping to do and all of that other wonderful stuff. So this literally is a job. And sometimes you're going to find yourself recording at 10 o'clock at night when you have to be up at 6:30 the next morning to go to work. And you just have to be prepared to do that. That was the whole point. I tangented pretty bad there. I'm sorry. But for those of you who are new to the channel, you will know that by watching some of my earlier content. I'm bad at tangenting. Terrible at tangenting. So yeah, I would encourage anyone who wants to try. And I'm serious about that. I seriously encourage anyone who wants to try being a content creator to try. But if you try, here's what you want to do. It's going to take a little bit of you have to look yourself in the mirror a little bit. Say, how much time am I willing to dedicate to this, which is going to be a hobby, essentially. It's going to be a job that you don't get paid for probably at least 3 years. Okay, just like running any small business, you don't make a profit generally in the first 3 years. That's real life. Can you dedicate at least 1 year to doing it? And be consistent. That means you have to produce at least 52 videos. Although, honestly, I'd recommend no less than 100, posting twice a week, so 104. Every year, consistently. And making sure they're posting. And making sure you have thumbnails. And making sure you're tagging. Making sure you're doing all the pre- and post-production stuff. If you decide to add, like, a starting sequence or an ending sequence, all of this needs to be taken into account. Because if you don't, it's not going to work. That's part of the reason that I do all raw content, because there's the pre and post production stuff is really, really easy. But that might be changing. and I'm not talking about a huge amount of editing, although I have managed to splice a couple videos together. Thank you, Windows Photos. But as things get more complex, I'm gonna have to start adding things, and I recognize that. And that probably will help me. And there's also another situation that might cause me to have to do more of that too, and I'll figure that out as that comes. Spoilers. So, yeah. If this is what you're aiming for, the only thing I can say is go for it. 100%. Please. And guess what? Drop a comment and let me know your channel, and I will check you out. I will definitely subscribe. Because, surprisingly enough, a reasonable percentage of my subscribers are other Entropia content creators. We all subscribe to each other. Because we like other content creators. We don't see each other as competition. We're complementary. We enjoy seeing each other's points of view. And so I want to see yours. So, okay guys, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time. So make sure you subscribe. As always, I really appreciate all the support. And I appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.